You look at what's happening in the world, sometimes you just try to fight for some sort of distraction. You can't just be inundated all the time with bad news, horrible stuff and everything. And, I read a lot of news, I watch a lot of news, and sometimes you need a break. I was trying to take a break. I was on my phone. Terrible idea. But as I was on my phone, I saw something. Blew my mind. I like to watch combat sports. I like watching boxing, MMA, and stuff like that, because I look at all of them as chess matches. I look at all of them as these like physical chess matches with immediate consequences that are basically one skill set against another skill set, and what's going to happen, right? And so I was scrolling on my phone, and I saw this match between what looked like two heavyweights, and one guy. They were at that point where they were clearly tired and clearly like leaning on each other and everything, but not hugging yet, just like gloves to gloves. And then one guy threw I think it was a hook, and hit the other guy pretty clean, and his hair came off. This is the point where the audience is split between people who saw the video and people who didn't see the video. All right. In case you didn't see the video, I can describe it for you. Yeah, it was these two big old dudes, big guys, heavyweights, and he got punched, and his hair also, like the reverb, like he got punched, and then his hair reacted. And when I was watching this clip, I'm not gonna lie, I did a double take. I was like, what did I just see? Some people obviously have watched the video. I've watched it 6,000 times. This is crazy. Because when you watch that clip, when you watch the video, you're watching two fights. The first fight is between what looks like two heavyweights. The second fight is his hair trying to stay on his head. And believe me when I tell you it was a battle, because that first punch, he got hit, and then he took the punch, right? Absorbed it. Like, you a big man used to taking big punches. That was nothing to him. He ate that one. But his hair... He got punched, but then his hair, you could see it in the video, his hair like, pow! And then he backed up a little bit. Man went ahead and punched him again. And one of the things I like about watching combat sports is you also get to see some of the preparation if they've made one of those mini docs ahead of time and everything. And then sometimes, depending on what promotion you're watching, they'll even give you some audio during the fight of the corner. What they're yelling at their fighter, whether it's instructions, whether it's encouragement, things that they shouldn't be doing. You hear all of it. And I wonder if it could talk, I wonder what the toupee would have been saying. Because that toupee trying to coach. It was trying to, hey, move. You need to cover up. He hitting us. Because that second punch landed. And You saw him once again. He didn't seem too hurt. He was over here, ooh, right? But his hair. And once again, he sort of absorbed it. I don't know how hurt he really was. It felt like you could see the toupee going, oh no! You see it go higher. It went further back. This toupee must have snapped its spine because he got hit again and you saw the toupee like, pow! You gotta think about this thing from the other fighter's perspective for a second. Imagine you over here, you're a prize fighter, fighting another prize fighter, and y'all going at it. And then you punch him. And his hair comes off. I think if that happened to me, I would be like, I didn't know. They're already fighting. They're already trying to do each other bodily harm anyway. But that is such a weird thing to have happen. It's not even part of a threat. You see people out, like you might see people out in the streets, out in a bar, getting ready to fight, and you've seen it, especially when dudes about to fight. They're yelling all sorts of threats at each other. You know, I'm gonna bust you up, bust your head open, I'm gonna kill you. Never. Never ever heard two men ready to fight, mad enough to beat each other down. Never have I heard anybody go, I'm gonna knock your hair clean off. Believe that. Doesn't happen. Yeah, his hair got knocked off and it landed outside of the ring. And somebody picked it up and put it in an empty seat. When you're fighting, you obviously, in any fight you engage in, you're trying to win, and if you are losing a fight, it can be devastating for you. It can be embarrassing, especially depending on who it's in front of. Is it in front of your friends? Is it in front of someone that you like, you know? Especially, I can't imagine fighting in front of a crowd and maybe not having the tools that you thought you had, maybe underestimating your opponent, and then they take advantage of a moment and maybe you get knocked out, whatever. I can't imagine the pressure of having people watch you fight. Or even if you're just out in the world and you're fighting in front of people that you might be trying to defend or you care about and you're losing it. But it's even harder to imagine what it's like to have your toupee sitting ringside. I think about it from his perspective, you know. He's over here fighting his best, trying his best, going at it. And then he gets hit. And maybe it was a hit that he didn't see coming. I wonder, did he think to himself when he got hit, whew, the room just got a little colder. Yeah, turn the air on in here. This is crazy. Oh. I think the only thing worse than getting your toupee knocked off during a televised fight is getting it knocked off by a bald man. Like the dude that... Once again, you never see two dudes out ready to fight, mad enough to beat each other down. You never see those two dudes going at it, and before they fight, one says to the other, when I get done with you, you're gonna look like me. Oh. But you can't avoid the news forever. You can't, you know. This Epstein thing. 3.5 million more documents dropped. And that's basically like a total of like 6 million, because you gotta remember the millions that they kept finding after they said that there wasn't anything. Never. Even the history of the lottery, no one's ever been like, no, there's nothing here. Actually, there's millions, my bad. Remember, there was nothing for like a while, and then they were like, oh, we found a couple million, oh, we found 2 million. All right, look, this is embarrassing to admit. We did find 3.5 more million. I know, it's hard to tell if we're incompetent or we're lying. I know. It's very difficult. And it's insane to see what they talk like when they think that no one is listening. Because this is actually a whole... It is like a whole conspiracy. This is the thing that gets to me about what's happening right now. All right, is that based on... I'm not acting like I read 3.5 million documents. Just based on what I've read so far, I actually owe a lot of the conspiracy theorists I know an apology. GIB, it's very hard for me when it comes to the everything's connected people, you know? Because not everything feels connected. You know, you'll have people who are like, it's all connected. It's all connected, all right? All of it. Jean Benet, 9/11, and the tiger that went missing at the zoo. It's all connected. That's the other thing about my friends who say it's all connected. They stare, and it's like, if you would blink, I might be on board quicker. But the way that you can't just tell somebody, so even if it's a fact, even if you're telling somebody the truth, you could be telling somebody the full truth. If you stare, it does take them out of what the truth is. You gotta stop. You might tell someone a fact, a thing that they know to be true, but if you stare afterwards, you kill your own momentum. You could be looking at your friend. It's Tuesday. Do you see how I don't care what day it is for a second? No, usually it's all connected people lose steam. Because even if they've got something going on with, okay, this is the other thing. I'm trying to help. This is me trying to help, all right? Even if things are all connected, okay? Y'all gotta get the yarn more organized. If you bring me into a room and there's pictures everywhere, but the yarn doing this, see how it's hard to follow? Because admittedly, the same thing that you're doing is what like the CIA, the FBI, like any investigative body does, except they just put the thing in the middle. And then they have all the other yarn pointing from that thing. So then you're like, huh, looks like that's the guy. You know, like you saw some of this broken down in timelines on the news, and they did that. They had Epstein in the middle, and then they had lines connecting to other people, and it was simple. You see Epstein in the middle, you see all the lines from them to Epstein, and maybe you could make some distinction. Like, oh, from him to him to him, okay. It wasn't over here, then over here, then over here, then over here, then over here. It's too hard to follow. And so I took my pride, and I tried to swallow it, and I knew that, okay, I have to apologize to some people who have been saying so many things. We're connected for a very long time, and I was like, all right, time to do it. I'm gonna see him. I know he's gonna be like, well, you know. And one of the most frustrating things about what is happening in this moment right now in front of us is that the same people, not all, but a lot of the same people who have always said it's all connected and look at this and blah, 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 like all that stuff, the people who, like, when you look at everything, do seem to have been right, you go to apologize to them, and then they're like, oh no, not this. No, not the guy I like. No, there's no way. No, that's no. This was literally your whole thing. This is your whole thing for like a decade, and now, because it's the guy you like, all right, whatever. That would be like if someone came to you and said, I have proof that there are aliens in the universe, in another galaxy. They live like sentient beings. They're just like us, but in their own alien way. And I'm telling you, they're out there, right? I know that they're out there. And maybe you made fun of this person, maybe you ignored this person. And then finally one day, the sky opens up. A ship comes down low into the atmosphere. And then from that ship, little pods come out of that ship, and they land here on Earth. When the pods open, these creatures step out. Oh, aliens. And just when you go to apologize to your friend, who's been saying for like a decade or more that there were aliens, right as you're about to fix your lips to say, I'm so sorry that I didn't believe you, he goes, oh no, the ones I was talking about were green. These don't even look like aliens to me. If I'm being honest with you, I don't think that's, no, they faking it. That's a dude in a costume, I think. That's not a spaceship, that's a drone. You never seen a drone before? No, because when you look at these files, and you look at the correspondence between Epstein and these other people, another thing that is very important to remember for all of us, because for so long, as Americans, we've sort of equated money and any form of success with intelligence. We have sort of built up a meritocracy that doesn't exist. And so we see someone, if they have $1 billion, we're like, oh, they must deserve $1 billion. If they have more money than we could ever imagine, they must have like earned it somehow. They must be so smart that they just put it together. And maybe I'll be just like them one day and I'll be able to put it together. And maybe I can work my way up to get to their level. And one of the things about reading these emails that should be apparently, it should be so clear to you when you read some of the correspondence between these people, is that these billionaires, these tech bros, these elite cannot spell. They cannot spell. They cannot spell. They probably cannot spell. They cannot spell. It is crazy. It's hard to read. It almost gives them some plausible deniability. If they were brought into court and told to read what they wrote, they might be like, I don't know what this is, to be honest with you. I don't know. They cannot. Predators that cannot read. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. I was reading some of the emails and I was like, y'all not embarrassed? It's not even in code. It's literally them being like, oh, would be great too. C, just the letter C. Oh, it's insane. We over here. We're over here trying to make sure we don't misspell anything. We even using AI sometimes in our emails to proofread before we send it. We always want to seem professional. We always want to have our stuff checked so that we can look like we know what we're talking about when we talk about things. Meanwhile, some of the richest people in the world over here misspelling vacation. Never think they're better than you. Never, never, never. You read some of these emails, especially, like when you really focus on the emails, because they have released, in some instances unredacted, they've released emails that were just drafts that Jeffrey Epstein saved, right? So you get to see some of the things that he wrote out that he maybe never even sent, but you see some of his like attempts at blackmail and some of his plans for people, you know. You also see emails, a lot of emails from Elon.
He's lonely.
Elon, but okay. Remember when Elon got into it with Trump, and then he was like, time Trump, the big bomb that Trump is in the Epstein files, that's why I haven't come out yet. He tried to do that mic drop. And then, how stupid do you have to be? You didn't just throw stones while you lived in a glass house. You seem to have thrown the stone through your glass floor. This dude emailed Jeffrey Epstein and was over here. Hey, I'm looking to spend some time, have a vacation. It'd be great to hang out at the island with you. Like, you want to hang out at the island? I'd love to come to the island with you. And the girls, there'll be girls there. So let's go to I want to hang out at your island with you. And we'll do whatever stuff. I mean, I want to go crazy too. So whatever stuff you do, that's what I want to do. I want to do all the stuff that you do with the girls at your island. I want to be with you at your island doing stuff and whatever stuff you have in mind, like crazy stuff. Let's lose our minds. Let's go crazy together at your island. I'm surprised that Jeffrey Epstein did not think Elon Musk was the police. The way that this man was emailing so thirsty. This is the most narc email I've ever seen in my life. This man, oh no, with you and the girls, you know, because there'll be girls there, right? It's like, I've never seen somebody send an email like they were wearing a wire. This is absolutely insane. And Epstein was one of those dudes, sure, he couldn't spell. But he knew he was the devil. And he also knew, you know, okay, I shouldn't email plainly with everybody. And so he sends an email back to Elon. This is not the exact email, but it's like the gist of it is, you know, oh yeah, it'd be great to hang out and do some math together. Just throw something out there. Wink, wink. And it's hard to do a wink wink with a man who doesn't blink. Because then Elon's like, why would I want to do math? Well, I could be hanging out with the girls and you at the island. I don't want to do math. I want to be with the girls at the island with you. No, it'd be so fun. Look, we'll come over to the island where the girls are. You got girls, right? Yeah. This happened a couple times between Elon and Epstein would try to throw in like, you know, some sort of like red herring or something, and Elon wouldn't catch on, and then finally he got to be like, do you think I'm stupid? No, I don't want to do math. I'm clearly like into doing the thing that you said, but just stop emailing like that. There was one time he was over here, man, I would love to come to the island with the girls and you. It'd be fun, be together, yeah, like bros with the girls at the island. We'll do whatever bad stuff you want to do, whatever you normally do. I'm here to have fun, so whatever you do, I just want to hang out at your house with you and do whatever it is that you do. Her great stories. And Epstein emailed back. And he was like, actually, I'm going to be out of town. Look, I personally think that Elon is like one of the biggest criminals in human history because he's got so much power and he has so much money that even on a whim, even something as simple as a mistake that he could make could affect so many lives. He affects millions of people, and he does it, and he doesn't really care about the people that he affects. And so all of these bad things that happen, you can lay them at his feet. They are his fault, The things that Doge has cut, the things that we're gonna see as a result of those cuts, that is him. That's fully him. And so the only thing to me that is worse than being like a predator criminal is being a predator criminal that other predator criminals don't want to hang out with. Like, that's wild. This man was thirsty, and they were like, ugh. Like, we're talking about Epstein. We're talking about that you have to take one of the deepest looks in human history at yourself. If actual pedophiles are like, ugh, it's just the worst. Do you realize how insane that is? An actual secret cabal, like a secret cabal of trafficking predators have a group chat without you in it. That is insane. Then Elon over here, once the files drop, because he's been big on anybody else who was in the files. I'm big on anybody else who might even have that suspicion of being in the files. He loved to throw as many people as he could under the bus or use it as his own weapon to attack people's reputation. And I'm not defending anybody. If they're in the files and he was going after them, then let them go after each other. I don't care. I'm just saying that, like, that's a wild thing to do when you know you're in the files. In the files a lot. Like, you know what I mean? Like, for his part, Trump has at least been acting like somebody who's in the files and doesn't want the files to come out. Like, that's a wild thing for Elon to be like, he in there and he in there too. Because then Elon comes out spinning out when this DOJ drop happens. And he's like, if I wanted to hang out with young girls, I didn't need a creep like Epstein's help. How are you not in jail? How are you not in jail? How are you this bad? That's insane. That would be like you're sitting on the stand, and the prosecutor's coming after you, and he's like, these are your co-conspirators, right? He's the mastermind right there. You've already said to the police, you've already given your testimony that this man was the ringleader. And then you go, I didn't need him to do it. I could do it all by myself. No. Look, okay. Listen to me. I'm gonna tell you a story. We're gonna get through it together. I have some family down south, and my family down south, one of them moved into this nice suburban neighborhood, and it was picturesque. It's one of those things that are like real slice of America type place, something out of like a sitcom or a CBS drama. And it was one of those neighborhoods where, there'd be like nice little neighborhood cookout once a month. People come over, cook their specialties. People mostly hang out with each other, do little potlucks and everything. And he had a neighbor, maybe 2-3 doors down. And this neighbor was married, but he was also having an affair. Yeah. And one weekend, when his wife was out of town, his mistress came over. Mistress comes over, and they spend a little time together. And apparently what happened was the mistress said, I think it's time for you to leave your wife and be with me. And he said, oh, funny that you say that, because the reason that I called you here is I think it's time for us to break up. And his mistress killed him. All right. I know this is a very scary story. I'm in Atlantic City. Some of you are here with your mistresses right now. But anyway. So the mistress took him out, right? And then she went outside and smoked a cigarette. This is actually what got her caught, because there was, people passing by in the neighborhood, and they were like, why is this woman in lingerie smoking a cigarette outside of Larry's house? And she even finished the cigarette. She came outside, maybe calm her nerves, smoked a little bit, put it out, and went back upstairs, and I'm not totally sure how she did it, but apparently she revived him. She resuscitated him. Yeah, gave him CPR. Woke back up, and I'm not gonna lie, I feel like if you kill somebody but you also revive them, that should break you even. That does seem, it's already so unlikely. Why fill out the paperwork? You did it, but you brought them back. Imagine that. Imagine if somebody kill you and then bring you back, and then you just pick up the argument where you left off. They over here. And you're like, and another thing. That's wild. Yeah, and then she brought him back.
How'd you kill him?
And then she did kill him again. And that feels excessive. Mad. Imagine being that mad. You already got him. Bring him back. And then, I don't know, maybe I'll argue some more. Maybe you're like, no, I was right. The whole reason I tell you that story is that when I first heard it, I couldn't believe that somebody would ever be that mad. You got him. They brought it back. I think you could probably call it good. I had never understood it. When I first heard that story, I was like, that seems so insane. There's so much anger to do that. Most people can't muster up to do it once. And you did it twice in the same 10 minutes. Truly, I never really understood what would make somebody do that until I was reading in the Epstein files. How did Melinda Gates not kill Bill twice? Man, okay, I don't know if you've read the part, but look, Bill Gates was cheating on Melinda Gates, apparently cheating on a decent amount, and it's one thing. Look, cheating is already very bad. Cheating is already wrong, and it breaks up lives and it breaks people's hearts and stuff. But getting cheated on by Bill Gates feels extra. You know what I mean? Okay, let's say I happen to be with Dua Lipa and she cheat on me, right? I'd have to take that one on the chin. I'd be like, all right, but you Dua Lipa, I'm surprised you're not, I'm just happy for the time we spend together, Dua Lipa. You know what I mean? You know, like, because even if she was like, hey, I did this thing, I feel really bad, and I'm be like, oh, with who? And she's like, I don't know, list another like A-list celebrity. I'd be like, you know him? You know, like. But getting cheated on by Bill Gates, I'd be so mad. I'd be like, you already Bill Gates. You lucky I'm here. No, I'm cheated on by Bill Gates. Ugh. And so apparently this is like the timeline that's been strung together. Bill Gates denies all this stuff, just so you know, right? But basically, the timeline that seems to have been established is that Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Gates were hanging out, and Epstein got women and or girls for Bill Gates, and at one point, Bill Gates contracted an STI, and he didn't want Melinda Gates to find out. And so there's literally them going back and forth, Epstein and Bill Gates, about ways that Bill Gates can try to get antibiotics into Melinda Gates' food so she won't get it. I'm not a doctor. But if you trying to spike somebody's food with antibiotics, they got to have pretty much the same meal for a while, right? Like that. Yeah, this dude was out here. He was a fiend. He was over here hanging with Epstein. Epstein was helping him do all this stuff. Epstein, you know, I don't know if he fully introduced him to one of the mistresses, but at one point, Bill Gates was sleeping with his bridge coach. You know, bridge. In fact, if I read this right, Epstein got Bill Gates Adderall so he could play bridge better. This is why nobody should have $1 billion. You got all this money, and you taking Adderall to play bridge better. That's you wasting it. You wasting I can tell you wasting billions of dollars right now out here buying all the farmland and then paying for Adderall so you can play better at bridge. What a loser. You realize you out here taking performance enhancing drugs for bridge. You know bridge, you know the #1 pastime of nursing homes everywhere. How does that even help you? People sitting there, wow, he puts the cars down so fast. Oh. Teaching Bill Gates bridge. And that's when he makes his move on you. Yeah, because you know how romantic bridge is. You know, sometimes you got the cards in your hands, you can barely contain yourself. That's wild. And then Epstein was over here talking about how that relationship fizzled out. He said that Bill Gates left her penniless on her friend's couch. Said that the richest man in the world was a total cheapskate. And said that, you know, she needed money and Epstein gave her some. Do you know what that says about you? That you out here not only cheating on your wife, but leaving your mistress penniless, and Epstein helps her out. The whole thing is so insane, you know? Because I don't know what any of it will amount to or will mean. In other countries, there seem to be some real consequences starting. There's like real investigations starting, and then people are like stepping down or losing jobs and everything. And here, we're acting like we don't know what to do. That's insane. That doesn't make any sense. Just do whatever any of the countries does that does something about this. What should we do? I don't know. I mean, yeah, Congress needs to do their job, but I just don't think that's enough. I feel like if you are in the Epstein files, some of these people aren't politicians. Some of these people aren't, holding a public office that can be held to account like that, No, I'm with you. I'm saying that if you see somebody, John Cena? I feel like, guys, I got this. Now we're just getting confused. No, this is part of it. I was trying to lead to something, but yeah. Whoever, and yeah. No, it would be, as long as John Cena's not in the files, it would be great if people in the files just were walking around and living their lives thinking that they got away with this thing, and just when they think they're in the clear, somebody in the Epstein files, and all thousands of them, walking around, and maybe John Cena rolls up behind them and knocks their hair clean off. I know I've never been balling out of control or anything, because in my adult life, I've never lived somewhere that didn't have a mouse for a period of time, right? And a mouse will humble you, because a mouse, you'll be thinking you got it all together. You got it all figured out, everything. You'll even be looking at your bank account and be like, wow, I'm killing it. I'm doing very well. And then in the distance past the laptop, you'll see a mouse scurry in the corner. You'll be like, I could do better. That's fair, right? But this is what bothers me, is that anytime you have a pest in the home, people act like it must be you. Like it has to be your fault, exactly. Expressly your fault, right? But it's like, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. I'm picking up after myself. I'm grabbing the clothes off the floor. I'm not leaving any food out. I'm vacuuming. I'm sweeping. There should not be a mouse in my... I'm not trying to have like a Disney Pixar experience, right? Like it's just... This happened, And then, let's say, goodness forbid, let's say you actually had a mouse problem, and then you went to work, and you told somebody, yeah, I got a mouse in my apartment, trying to get it taken care of. Your coworker would be like, oh. You sure you should be here? I mean? Like you inviting them over or something. It's very frustrating, Because goodness forbid, once again, but let's say a different pest came in your home. Let's say a burglar broke in, right? And the next day you go to work and you tell someone, it's like, my home was burglarized last night. They would be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. That's horrible. That's such a terrible thing. You must have been terrified. Are you okay? Is everything all right? They would show compassion. They'd have empathy. They wouldn't be like, ugh. I guess that's just how you were raised, huh? Do you see the difference? It's very frustrating, because I'll give you an example. When I lived in Chicago, right, I had a mouse in my apartment. I had lived there 2 years, no mouse, and I finally had a mouse in my apartment. Now, I lived in an apartment complex that was near some other ones, and a bit south of our apartment complex was a building that had been condemned for humans, but it was a mouse mansion, right? That's where they were. That was the spot, right? And everybody knew it. And eventually the city tore down the building, and they took down this ratatouille tenement, and obviously the mice were like, where should we go? Probably next door, right? And so for the first time ever, right, I had a mouse in my apartment. But the way that I found out was horrible, because I had a friend over. And so my friend and I are chilling, and then this mouse, he doesn't scurry along the wall and then turn the corner like they're supposed to, right? This mouse walks out in front of us, coming from what I can only assume was a nap, because this mouse had the nerve to walk out and stretch.
on the rug, getting a deep stretch too, really bouncing with it as he moved. You know, like when your puppy wake up, you know what I'm talking about? They put that other foot in the air. They really getting that whole back leg going. And the worst part about this happening in this moment is that when you tell your friend that, wow, I've lived here 2 years and I've never had a mouse, this is the first mouse I've ever seen, you sound like a liar, right? Because if this is the first mouse you've ever seen in this apartment, why does he seem so comfortable around you? Why is he stretching the back leg like he pays bills once in a while? Why is he getting so easy going, letting that back pop like he pays rent every once in a while? And so I was like, clearly I gotta take care of it. So I called the landlord, who calls the exterminator. And one of the frustrating things, I'm actually glad it went down this way, because usually when you call an exterminator, that's when the pests in your home want to act right. As soon as you call the exterminator, that's when they're like, oh, you got company. I wouldn't dream. Oh, so landlord calls an exterminator. Exterminator comes the next day, right? I open the door for the exterminator. He takes about 2 steps in, and that's when the mouse that I saw yesterday runs past his foot, scurries along the wall, and then just turns the corner, right? But then my exterminator goes, ooh! And for the rest of the time he is in my home, he refuses to put his full foot on the floor. So he's just consistently walking around like, so how many you been seeing? Because you know they say, oof. He was poking his head indoors where he would go in the room and stuff. And he was like, they say that if you see one, if you see one, there's 3 of them. I'm like, that is you. We can't both be scared, dog. Like, oh, it's devastating. You know what I mean? Because I'm not immune. I've done the same thing. Sometimes, someone tell me they have a pest or something, but we got to be more understanding. It's like nobody wants this in their home. But I had a friend one time, back once again while I was living in Chicago, and he told me while we were out having lunch that he was having a bed bug problem. And when he said it, I was like, ooh. So how many you been seeing? And he was like, don't do that. You're not itching. I'm like, we don't know. No, it's important to humble yourself. Understand that you could be in any situation. You really could. I don't care who you are in here. I don't care where you live, where you come from. Every single person, every one of you listening to me right now, all of us are 2 flies in the home away from seeming nasty. That's all it takes. 1 fly could happen to anybody, all right? 1 fly means you just opened a window. 2 flies. What do they see? What do they smell? What do I mean? 2 flies means 1 fly went and got another fly. I was like, do I have a place for us? I was reading this story. You know how during Halloween, there's always this weird thing where they're like, don't Don't just let anybody give your kid candy. There's people out here putting razor blades in apples, right? There's people out here putting drugs in the candy. Just really watch your child's candy, right? And you know how for the entirety of Halloween in America, that's been like a myth? Like that's just not a thing that's happening, you know? Plus, if somebody give you an apple at Halloween, I'm never going to find out a razor blade is in it. This apple is going straight back to them through their window. If they get cut in the process, that's on them, you know? And as far as, you know, drugs in the candy, I mean, I don't know. Come on now. Even if that was happening, a child on drugs like acid is just the way a kid acts anyway. Yeah, I mean, little cousins I've had that walked up and told me a story that I've only heard again from a college friend who was deeply on acid. Like that's... Adults on acid and children just operate at the same frequency. You know what I mean? Telling you stories about animals that don't exist and stuff. It's like, all right. Extra hyper. Yep. You know, check. You know, most people who babysit like a 5 or 6 year old are dealing with the same sort of struggles as a drug crisis center. You know, you should over here running around. I can't find you half the time. You have a little bit of sugar. You can't stop shaking. You won't go to sleep. If anything, drugs might slow a child down. But I bring it up because in New Zealand, there were about 60 pieces of candy that were donated to this food bank, so it did go out via the food bank, and the pieces of candy were meth, right? And they were just like meth, and they were like pure meth. Like it was like the methy Jolly Ranchers meth. Like I can't express enough how much this was just meth, right? And they said that, you know, they've been doing everything they can to recover all the pieces. They put out a warning and everything. And the company, they've contacted the company that it was wrapped in as a hard candy of and stuff. But most of the people that tried this meth hard candy spit it out immediately because they were like, it's just nasty. It's just real bitter. It doesn't have the oomph to it, right? Like, if anything, it's too pure. There's not enough sugar in which is for the best. That's good, because apparently this little hard candy of meth had 300 doses of meth in it, which is terrifying, right? I'm glad that it was very nasty. People spit it out immediately and stuff. And what's crazy is that, okay, this is a part of the story that I wasn't fully sure if I was reading it right when I read it, but basically some people who had some sort of like adverse effects, like feeling a little nauseous or a little like jittery, because it's meth candy, so they were feeling a little jittery after they had a taste, even though they spit it out, 300 doses and a little hard candy, right? But they called the food bank and told them like, hey, some of that candy making me feel weird, right? So then some of the staff at the food bank also tried the candy. Which feels like a weird way to test for drugs, you know what I mean? Feels like, I don't know, these hard candies might be, they might be like condensed mushrooms. It's like, well, only one way to find out. And then the staff also spit out the candy immediately because it just, you know, I can't imagine meth is delicious. And they said that they exhibited some, you know, some adverse effects, feeling a little, you know, little stomach ache, little jittery, little disoriented and stuff. And so they're trying to get to the bottom of it. But I don't know. It low-key feels like the candy company was just kind of trying it out. You know what I mean? Like, just to be like, we got to do something, all right? We're falling behind Starburst. We're falling behind Nerds. We can't keep up. We got to mix it up a little bit. Whether I'm like reading reviews of things or just like falling down different rabbit holes online, it is apparent that we have a deep problem, everybody, with like oversharing online. I know so much about people that I'll never meet. That feels crazy. You know what I mean? And it's to our detriment, you know? Like, that's us. Like, we're gonna have to explain to our grandkids what Twitter was. When we're like grandparents, we're gonna have to sit our kids down and be like, yeah, you know, when I was coming up, there were people who would just tell everybody what they thought without anyone asking. And ruin their own life. You know what I mean? They would just wake up and be like, I don't need a job today. And then they would just admit things that they could have kept in their head. You know? Because you watch a lot of it happen, especially like when somebody, because it could happen to anybody. When anybody's like just going through the internet backlash of a day. Maybe you said something, maybe you did something, maybe you were caught on camera somewhere or something like that. And then even when a person tries to defend themselves, it's too far gone. And then even if you do a good job of defending yourself, and even if the thing isn't what people thought it was, that never rises to the level of the initial thing, right? And so, you know, it just feels like a lot of unforced errors in life when people do this stuff, and they're still doing it. Sometimes I still see people post a thing and I'm like, you could have told no one. That's wild. Why would you do? Everyone's mad now. No, I just wish we could bring back diaries. Remember diaries? Remember journals? Remember when you were like a kid and you would just write in that? And it would be your deepest, darkest, most personal secrets. All of your like internal thoughts, your whole internal monologue would be put on paper somewhere, and then you put it under the bed. And it was a violation. It was the deepest violation if your parents read your diary or read your journal or something like that, because those ideas, those thoughts were truly private. Like, you had to work them out of yourself and you had to put them somewhere, but they were for safekeeping for just you, right? And so they'd be under the bed, wherever, and then finally, years later, years after you write that stuff, right? You're maybe about to go to college, or you're just moving out the house or something. You flipping the mattress for the first time in 4 years, and you see, no, my journal. Oh my gosh! And then you look through some of the pages, you read a little bit of it, and you go, oof. Who is this? Oh no. Oh, I'm glad that's nowhere else. Because now I can burn it. And no one will ever know. I remember I found one of my journals from when I was a kid, and I was like, oof. This is pretty horny and racist. Man, I don't know what I was on. This is wild. I gotta throw this through the shredder now. No. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough because I'm trying to just navigate things. Like, I do my best to be a good person. I'm sure everybody is to a certain degree, you know, even if it doesn't feel like it, you know. But like, I don't know, man. I'm like liberal, but my friends are like liberal. Like, I'm liberal as in like we believe all the same stuff. Like, if you go down the list, I'm like, yeah, that. Yeah, me too. I do as well, right? So we believe the same stuff, but when they say it, they just, they say it all slow and touching their chest and stuff. Like, do you know what I'm talking about? It's like, you'll be like, no, I believe that a woman should have autonomy over her body, right? And then they'll be like, I believe that a woman should have autonomy over her own body. I'm like, yeah, you said it slower. Like, you know, I don't know. Yeah, sometimes I don't know what some of that is. Sometimes I don't know if that's just like them trying to impress somebody. Because the person I'm talking about is a dude. Like, I'm like, there's no way you feel it this hard, bro. Like, that's suspicious as hell. It really is. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's weird when something is like, and don't take what I'm about to say the wrong way. Just listen, hear me out. It's wild when something that you want to fight for and help someone fight for, right? But it's not your direct, like in the moment, your direct body or problem, and you're madder than them. That's suspicious. Do you know what I mean? It's like when you meet a white person, they're like, you know what really gets me? Segregation. Based off of how you said that, there's no way that's true. There's no way. I don't believe you for a second, right? Because I get into weird arguments with my like liberal friends because we literally believe the same things, but then they take it a step further than feels logical to me, right? But we would still like vote the same way and do the same. We would still be at the same rally. But they just stomping harder, like that's gonna do something. I'm like, I had an argument with one of my friends, where, you know, he was talking. I don't like when sometimes academics will pull a thing that works in theory and it works in like academia, but it doesn't work in practical life, right? So I was having this argument with my friend where, you know, he was basically saying that black people can't be racist because racism is prejudice plus power, right? And I was like, that's, don't do that. Because a part of me gets what he was trying to say. A part of him was saying, like, look, anybody can be prejudiced, and prejudice is hate and stuff like that, but black people systematically have not had the power to exert their hate over other people, right? And so until then, you know, black people can't be racist, right? And I was like, but part of what you're saying is true, but when you say it out of your mouth, you make the whole thing sound wrong. You know? And so now I'm arguing with my friend, and it's even weirder because he's white. He's white, and he's a man. He's the man from the abortion example. Like, that's just, this is the same person. He's a white dude that gets real mad about abortion and thinks that I can't be racist. So then I get in an argument with my friend. We're at a Denny's, by the way. I get in an argument with my friend that black people, we can be racist. Don't. Now I'm yelling in a Denny's at my white friend about how racist I am. But the point I was trying to make was like, look, I see what you're saying, and historically, I get that if you're making this example for like a different time, right? But when you say power, do you mean power of the individual or power of the group, right? Because individually, there are very powerful black people that could exert their power over other people, right? But if you're talking about power of the group, then yeah, maybe we'll never get there. I'm just saying, like, power of the group, I don't see an all-black Senate happening anytime soon. You know? But still, I was like, you realize we both acknowledge that, like, prejudice is bad and hate is bad, and so that is the thing that people mean when they say racism. You're getting into this, like, weird argument around the word that's distracting from the thing that actually bothers people. Does that make sense? What I'm saying? So then I'm now having to give examples of me being racist to prove my point. We're still in the Denny's. They won't bring the check because I think they're worried about me, right? So then they won't, because I'm being too loud. And so then I'm like, no, I can be and have been racist, and I have to take account of when it happens. I take accountability for both my thoughts and my actions, what I say to people, because we're all people. We're all trying to find a base level of understanding and kindness towards each other. So then I have to take accountability for when I do make someone feel bad, right? And whether that thing is whatever, justified in the moment because of how they were reacting to me, or completely unjustified based off a preconceived notion. I have to take stock of this. I have to take responsibility for myself. It doesn't matter that there are other disenfranchised people out there. I can't scapegoat them to act however I want to act, right? So then I was giving an example of me being racist. Okay, I'm not saying this is right. It's just how I am. And I'm trying to change. Remember that. But I look at my white friend, okay. I feel, when I see my white friends struggle in the sun, I don't really care. That is racist though, because it's an entire group where I'm like, then do better. It's like, that's not right. That's not right. You know what I mean? But I look at white people struggling in the sun the way I imagine, not calling anybody out, but it's the way I imagine they look at black people when we can't get along, right? It's like, it's not really my problem, is it? Do better, I guess. You know? No, it's tough because it's I don't know. I'm liberal, but I'm not liberal. Still working some stuff out. You know? I don't know if y'all saw what's been going on in the House of Representatives, but they had it out. Ooh, that was better than Real Housewives. I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty good. Okay, in case you didn't see what happened, basically they were having a committee hearing, and I don't really know how they work. They use certain rules of order where they're point of order, and there's this moderator that doesn't do his job and stuff. And basically, Representative, I think her name is Jasmine Crockett, said to Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's like, do you know what we're talking about right now? Do you know what we're here for? And then Marjorie Taylor Greene said, I do know what we're here for. Do you know what we're here for? Because those fake eyelashes might be messing up your reading. And immediately, everyone had a reaction, and AOC was the one to be like, hey, can we strike this from the record? You can't do this. This is crazy. You're not supposed to engage in personal attacks on appearance or personality during a hearing. You have to have some form of order, right? And then the person that runs the committee that doesn't do his job was just sort of ignoring her. So then, they let it go. But before that, Marjorie Taylor turns to AOC and she's like, did I hurt your feelings or something? And then AOC said, girl, no. Baby girl, no. In case you aren't familiar, all right, a girl followed by a baby girl is equivalent to showing a Glock. I've never had a woman tell another woman in front of me, girl, baby girl, without something happening next. That's because it's such gentle language. Because there's two women talking to each other. So girl implies my girl, hey girl, you know what I mean? Girl, and then baby girl. Baby girl is smaller than girl. Baby girl comes from an even gentler place, but is somehow much more violent. Baby girl. I'll put it this way. Girl is hair. Girl is, snatching up someone by their hair. Baby girl is choke. Baby girl is hands around the throat. One hand is baby, the other is girl. Baby girl. Whew. And then later, Representative Jasmine just asked the leader, the one who doesn't do his job. She was like, hey, I just want to check, just so I know the rules. I want to check if I were to say something about somebody's beach, blonde, bad built, botched body. And to be fair, look, I wasn't there. I don't know exactly what she said, because some people are like, bad beach, blonde, bad built, butch body, or beach, blonde, bad built, botched body. Either way, it's a bop. Either way. It's rare, and that was like kind of off the dome. That was incredible. That was one of those things where I was reading it. I've never read like a news magazine before and been like, beach, blonde, bad built, butch body. Man, get Metro booming on that one. That's crazy. So I don't know exactly what she said, but she was like, if I were to mention somebody's beach blonde, bad built, botch body, would that be engaging in personality attacks? And then a bunch of people on the Republican side made the same noise as the Democratic side before. And then they were like, this is not the time, blah, blah. And then Jasmine was like, no. Because y'all love to dish it out, but you can't take it. And then the article ended. And I was like, that's the problem with journalism today. That's what. Now I gotta go watch C-SPAN to see how it ended. I feel like one of the main things that I miss from being a kid is ooh. Do y'all remember ooh? Do y'all remember like ooh? What an incredible experience. Ooh is beautiful. You know what's so beautiful about it? It's one of those like communal experiences. No one teaches you how to do ooh when you're a kid. You know what I mean? No one sits you down and sometimes you're going to want to clap, and sometimes you're going to be like, ooh. Like, no, your parents never give you a talk like that. You just are a kid, and then maybe you're talking in class, everybody's talking in class, and then the teacher gets frustrated, turns around, points out one kid and goes, Mr. Perkins, and then all the kids go, ooh. It's beautiful. It's almost like a religious experience that you're having outside of church, you know what I mean? Everybody knew to do it at the same time. Like starting a good slow clap. When a real slow clap happens, you're like, wow, we really did it, y'all. Ooh is beautiful. And then as you get older, ooh starts to go away a little bit. You know, because we all have different experiences. When you're a kid, most kids have the same general big fears, right? Getting called out in the middle of class, getting embarrassed, something happening, somebody. But as you get older, everything starts to splinter off. Everything goes in different directions. And so one person's ooh is another person's nothing, right? It's very hard as an adult to have an ooh experience. So I treasure them now when I have them. It's beautiful. Like I was walking down the street one day and I was passing this bar, and there was a woman yelling at her boyfriend to the point that a crowd had gathered. Like it really felt like a street performance, the way that she was taking him to task. And she was like, I had one day off, JR. I had one day off and you ruined it. And he's like, I'm sorry. No, sorry's not enough. This has happened so many times. I have one day off, JR, and you ruined it. And then out of nowhere, she just swung and slapped him, right? Slapped him from everybody, and everybody was like, ooh. And just like that, I was like, wow, I'm back in it. This is incredible. I went to a friend's wedding a while back, and the thing that was amazing to me about this wedding is just how personal it was, right? So it was a smaller wedding, so it wasn't like a huge room or anything, and the groom got his best friend to officiate the wedding, right? And I think that's kind of cool. You know, some people want someone, like if they have it at a church, they want like their pastor to do it, like, but just someone that makes it special, right? And then the couple, they wrote their own vows, which I also thought was pretty cool because it was very specific stuff to them that was like cute and was funny and stuff like that. And you can tell that the friend officiating was nervous because he was holding the mic, but it was like shaking in his hand, everything. It was all very, very sweet, right? And then it got that time to, you know, say like, do you take, and everything. And then, you know, Buddy looks at the groom and says, do you take Ashley to be your lawfully wedded wife? But Ashley was the groom's ex's name. Isn't it? Doesn't it just feel good to just let it out? Oh. You know, I don't know, admittedly, I don't know much about dating, but I do know white people. And the weather has a real effect on y'all. It's a nice day out, and every person I made eye contact with has told me. Y'all saw the sunlight today. You were delighted. I was outside, and somebody walked up to me outside and was like, what a day. You know, and maybe it's just the New Yorker, but I was like, nah, I know, it's very good. They were like, nah, this is great. And in my head, I'm like, does it rain every other day or something? Good to know. Oh, I was happy for everyone. Everybody was having such a good time. You know, it's like the weather today felt like when your friend wants you to see a movie really bad, and then they watch it with you, but they watching you watch the movie to make sure you're enjoying it as much as, but then you're like, but I see it. And they're like, no, but are you paying attention? It's like, you not paying attention, you looking at me. There were a couple people I was concerned about. You know what I mean? Because there were a couple people, I was at the hotel, you know, I was chilling with Logan. We were about to go get something to eat. And there was one guy that was so happy, he got upset. You know what I mean? Like we saw him, you know, past him on the way out of the elevator. He's like, it's a really nice day. I was like, oh, buddy, it sounds like you needed this one. It sounded like one more day of rain, something was going to happen, all right? I can see that same dude looking out the window. If I see another drop of rain, everybody dying. Then the clouds broke and he was like, yes, yes, yes. Because I was enjoying the weather too. I just didn't feel like I was doing a good enough job. Okay, you know, like when you go to like Six Flags or something and you having fun, but your friend is having the best time ever, to where you're like, I don't think we at the same place. You know, like y'all both walking up to the line for the Batman ride. I guess it's just perspective. I guess it's just when I walk up to the line, I see how long the line is. I'm like, oh, we gonna be standing here for 45 minutes. But he's looking up at the ride like, Batman. I'm like, yeah, buddy, yeah. Yeah, Batman, and we'll be there in 45 minutes. Oh. I had a realization that I'm getting older now, and as a man, like as a grown man, I'm actually too old now to get kidnapped. Like if I got snatched on the street and then they held me for ransom as a man, you'd be like, nah, I live with y'all now. Like, I can't. You can't send me back. That's too embarrassing. I just got snatched up like I was waiting for my mom after school. Y'all got me. We good. I'm part of the gang now. Don't. Yeah, send me back. Imagine. There's actually a statistic that nobody talks about. Thousands, I'm telling you, thousands of men go missing every year. We don't look, but thousands of men go missing. And I think it was 2021 where men going missing outpaced women going missing, right? And it's like an insane stat. When I was reading it, I didn't believe it. I was like, how is that possible? But I think it's because men know when they get snatched up, they're like, bro, just kill me, because I can't go back now. Imagine you a grown man with a family, right? You a grown man with children, and you got kidnapped, and then you come home and try to be the patriarch of your family, knowing you were a kidnapped man. You know what I mean? Knowing you a diet man, knowing you light. Standing there over your kid, telling him not to talk to strangers, and then your 8-year-old go, well, Dad, between the two of us, I'm not the one that's been snatched up before. I'm not the one that's walking around irresponsibly. I've been loving getting to watch in real time the indictment of New York Mayor Eric Adams. This dude sucks so much. It's so bad. This dude sucks. I don't know who your mayor is, but be glad it's not Eric Adams. This dude is the worst. He's so corrupt. And it's like corruption. This is what's disappointing about Eric Adams' corruption, is that it's like petty. Do you know what I mean? We expect politics to be corrupt. It says a lot that we do, but a part of us, do you know what I mean? And what does that say about us to a certain degree? I think about that a lot. What does that say about our expectations, that we expect corruption? You know what I mean? At lots of levels. You know, the city councilman did this thing, president did this thing, whatever it is, we expect it. And then when people run, we don't really believe in them. Maybe if someone can make us believe in them along the way, that's the person that we vote for, because we're like, wow, this person's different. But different from what? The expectation is corruption, you know? And he's corrupt in a way that's truly disappointing. It's a shame. It's embarrassing how easy a politician is to buy. You could lease a new Subaru, or you could buy a politician depending on the position of the state. The things these people go down for, we're talking not money if we're talking politics, right? Like if I was a senator and I wanted to be corrupt, you'd have to get me good. You have to take care of me, because I might lose my job. I might go to jail. I need a nest egg to protect me. You know, something to look forward to while I'm in jail doing all that time for doing you a favor and being corrupt. Like, that's why I don't agree with it, and I'm glad he's going down for it. But Menendez makes sense. He took gold bars. That's cartoonish corruption. That is like full on 1950s cartoon corruption. That is New Yorker political cartoon corruption, to just take actual gold bars. Where do you get gold bars from? And then take the gold bars to do the favor for the person. This is what's funny about Eric Adams being indicted, is that New York City is, and this is coming from someone who lives there, and I do love it in New York, right? But New York is a dirty place, all right? Inside and out, okay? It's one of the more corrupt places. So to be the first mayor to ever be indicted with corruption charges in New York City. You got to be one of the dumbest people who has ever lived. It's a city of corruption, and you got caught. That's crazy. Sometimes I can't believe it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure he couldn't believe it. He was like, y'all, this is what we do. How y'all gonna get mad now? I did the regular amount of corruption. I didn't even go overboard. I got some flights upgraded. Why would y'all? No, it is that dumb. This dude, Eric Adams' corruption is so petty. This dude about to go to jail because he let Turkey upgrade some flights for him. He basically is gonna go to jail for what is Delta Gold Medallion. Like, it's just, it's very petty. Some nice meals, some flights. That's great. That our mayor, New York's mayor, all it took to buy him was just treat him like a bad bitch for a night. Like, it's... Do you know how embarrassing that is? Do you know how much money is in New York? I need at least 6 skyscrapers to be as corrupt as Eric Adams. I'd be like, take care of me. No, I need land. What are you talking about, a flight? A flight where I might fall asleep and miss my corruption? No. Because sometimes you get upgraded by your airline, you get all excited, you like, oh, I'm sitting in, got the extra leg room and everything. I can kick for no reason and stuff. And then you wake up at the destination and you're like, dang, I didn't even enjoy the free glass of champagne and orange juice. That's his level of corruption. It's so dumb. He sucks. But Eric Adams started as a cop, right? And I actually watched this video of him. It was a very entertaining watch. Basically, when he was a cop, he did a video. Maybe he was still a cop. I don't know. Maybe it retired. But anyway, he used his police expertise to make the video. And it's basically a video where he shows parents how to search their children's rooms for drugs and guns, right? And the thing that's amazing about it is that clearly one of two things happened. Either Eric Adams told whoever was shooting the video to just go fill a room full of crack, or Eric Adams kept using the same 6 crack rocks in between takes. Because he was pulling crack out of places that didn't really make any sense. Like those, when you have crack, the intention is to smoke it or sell it. And where he was pulling, because then first of all, the room didn't make sense because the room is supposed to be a child's room, right? But the room has stuff for a kid that's about to head off to college or somebody in preschool. Like, there's just too much going on in the room. The room makes sense if you were never going to leave that room for 26 years. Like, it doesn't... The room did not make sense at all. So then Eric Adams would do weird stuff, like he'd be like, looks like a regular tricycle, right? But if you pop this tire right quick, you pop this tire, pull it out, what do we find? Crack cocaine. It was incredible. Like, looks like a regular doll, huh? But if you stab it in the back and rip it open, what do we find? Crack cocaine. And honestly, like, look, I even get the spirit behind what he's doing, but if your child is on crack, there will be other signs besides a heavy tricycle wheel. I've never seen a kid on a bike with a flat tire and been like, we're losing the youth. It's insane. This dude is over here going, a simple jewelry box. But if we open it, what do we find? A loaded gun. A pillow? You gave your child a pillow? And thought that they weren't gonna do the worst with it? You reach in that pillowcase, what do you find? A Glock. My favorite was standing near a bookcase. And he didn't say these words exactly, but the feeling that I got when I was watching him was just, you think your child reads? You think your little baby boy, baby girl reading in here? No. They're a child, and we all know children are what? Crackheads. You open this book, and what do you find? What spills out? Crack cocaine. No, it was incredible. It was truly, the only thing he did do was pull crack out of the gun. Like, and I can't stress this enough. Eric Adams is like terrible. He really is. Like, he really is. He's the worst. It's so bad. He sucks. He sucks so much. You should be so glad he's not your mayor. Like, that's. Oh man, I'll be honest with you. I didn't do the research. I don't know who your mayor is. I just know it's not Eric Adams. So you got 2 legs up on New York City. This dude, first of all, when he was running, he was corrupt. The dude was running, and he was already doing stuff where we were like, if it's not illegal, it's weird. This dude told the story of, because he's a cop, and he reminds everybody all the time they used to be a cop, right? And it depends, because he does a thing that's real sneaky. He's really good at it, right? Where he was a black cop. So in some rooms, he's black. In some rooms, I used to be a cop. And never the 2 rooms shall meet. If like... It's crazy. Okay, so this dude, when he was running, would tell the story of a fallen officer, right? His friend that he loved dearly, who died in the line of duty, and he loved his friend so much that he keeps a picture of him in his wallet with him all the time, right? And it's a heartwarming story because no matter your feelings on cops, no matter your feelings on like the criminal justice system, I think everyone can understand what it's like to lose a friend, right? You can understand what it's like to lose, especially when you lose a friend when you're both in danger. Maybe you both were in the military together. Maybe you're both cops. Maybe you served in some way and then you lost your friend. And no one's going to know what that was like except for people who it also happened to, right? And he kept the picture in his wallet, except the picture in his wallet that he showed people was printed out by his staff members, and they threw a little coffee on it to make it look old. And that's before he did anything illegal. This dude is the devil. Like, he really sucks. This dude, I don't even know how he won. He doesn't live in New York. You know how usually you have to live where you're the mayor of? I'm not going to make any assumptions about your mayor, but I'm assuming they live here. I imagine your mayor doesn't actually live in Illinois. That would be weird, right? To come over and be like, hey, I'm here with y'all. We're in this together. I'ma go, though. Dude lived in Jersey. And then it got outed that he lived in Jersey. And so at the last second, he had the New York Times try to help him cover it. And they did a profile of him at his house in Brooklyn that he was clearly walking into for the first time. It's like, this dude walked in. You could tell he had never been in there before. He over here like, and as you can see, my wall. If you don't have one, you gotta get one. All right, these walls are fire. This dude walked in, and clearly, whatever staff was trying to help him look like he lived there, I feel like they tried to like Ocean's 11 it and like did it a little too late, because they were clearly moving stuff into the place to make it look furnished. But then he probably called them and told like, hey, I'm on the way now. Y'all got to get out, because the apartment did not make sense. You walk in and in the living room is the bed. That's an intern who had to drop the bed like as they like, what? And then, you know, they go, he opens the fridge because he really tried to do this MTV Cribs for the New York Times, right? And so then he opens the fridge and he's like, blat out my snacks, right? And there is way too much meat for Adams to be a vegan. There's so much meat. It looked like it was stocked by Hillshire Farms. There's way too much meat in there. Not even mistakable meat. Not even like, oh, I thought the Impossible Burger. Like, it's full on meat. And when they ask him about it, he's like, oh, my son be sneaking in. You know what I mean? You know, because you know how when you have kids, you know, as parents, you know how when you have kids, they sneak into your home and leave food. You know what I mean? In the fridge uneaten. You know how children are. All they do is leave food in the fridge and smoke crack. That's what children do. This dude is the worst. This man brought back stop and frisk. If you don't know what stop and frisk is, it was a practice in New York where basically the police could stop you at any time and frisk you, check you for drugs and weapons and stuff like that. It was very popular under like Giuliani and stuff, but it was like found to be pretty disproportionate because they would just stay in one place and check everybody there. You know? So it was just black and brown people. It was mostly black and Hispanic people that were like stopped and frisked. And it didn't even really work because the people with guns and drugs were like, I'll stay home. You know, they found when they did studies on it that, you know, more often than not, it was men, over 9% men. So it's like 99.3% men of the stop and frisk. And then also in the 90s were black and brown people. So it was like, I think like 5% white, right? Which is just go all over New York. You're allowed to stop and frisk. Just stop and frisk everywhere. Just do the Upper West Side. Do you know what I mean? Just be like, hey, what's in the briefcase though? That could be full of anything. But they didn't, so it was found to be like an unconstitutional practice. It was found unconstitutional in 2013, and the New York police like disbanded it fully in 2020, and then Eric Adams brought it back. Which is odd, because this is my thing about Eric Adams, and what I mean about that chameleon move that he does is that Eric Adams, I don't even know the exact particulars of the story. All I know is that he was arrested when he was a kid. Some people say he was a member of a gang himself, right? And that he got beat up by the police. He tells the story of being a victim of police brutality at like 14, 15. Him and his friend got caught. They had done two things. I think they had stolen some checks or something, and they stole something else, and it was when they were trying to cash the stolen check they got caught, and basically they got beat up at the police station. And apparently, the way that I believe Eric tells it is that these white cops were beating him and his friend up, and then a black cop came in and told him to stop. And he was like, and that was the moment I decided that I wanted to be a police officer, turn my life around, everything, because I just saw the way that black cop moved, right? He's like, I saw the power, the respect, I saw the fear that people had, and I was like, that, oh, okay. It's a weird thing to pull from that lesson, but all right. We're all our own people. And so it's weird to me that he's so adamant about being punitive as someone who grew up the way that he grew up. It's very odd that he doesn't see himself in any of the youth that he wants to arrest or wants to punish. Like and that's even only part of why he sucks. Like, he sucks. This dude sucks so much. He's the worst. They opened the investigation into Eric Adams the way that the feds do, which is quietly. You know what I mean? The thing that's scary about the feds is that they always get you. Their conviction rate is in the 90s. So it's basically done. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, when they show up, it's only a matter of time, right? And the feds opened an investigation into them, and this is like a year ago, that they came through and they were like, hey, we're gonna need everybody's cell phone. Your whole team, right? Which is already not great. Probably every mean thing I've ever said is on my cell phone. Do you know what I mean? Like, I try to be a good person, but if you pull up on me and you snatch my cell phone, you're gonna be like, oh, you an asshole, okay. The cell phone feels safe. And the feds roll up and, take his laptop, his cell phone, everything. And this is how you know, this is how a guilty dude moves, right? So he goes ahead and gets swooped on when the feds come and get everybody's cell phone. And he's like, oh, actually, my cell phone, I don't have it on me, right? I don't have it. And they were like, okay, we'll bring it first thing tomorrow. And he brings it. Next day, brings it, right? And then he's like, actually, I had changed my password to keep my aides out of my phone, because you know how aides are, always trying to face ID you and see what your business is and everything, even though you email them personally and stuff. But like, try keeping my aides out of my phone. So went ahead and I'm giving it to you now, but just know that I had to change the password, keep my aides out of my phone, and I just forgot it. This dude moves like a man who cheats. Like, that's crazy. And the feds basically had so much on them that they were like, oh, we don't need your phone. Because we have every other phone that you text. There's even instances of Adam's aides knowing things were illegal and then being like, y'all, this is illegal. They said it in the text, but y'all, this is illegal. I don't think he'll want to do it. And then, that text bubble? He'd be like, hey, this is illegal. I don't know if he'll want to do it. And then the person from Turkey or wherever would be like, are you sure? And then the text bubble. That bubble be cooking, right? That bubble be bubbling up, right? And then it go away for a second. And then it come back and be like, never mind, he's down. The amount of times that his aide said to other people, "This is illegal," and then several texts later, be like, "So when are we?" It was incredible, man. It's really fascinating. And then there was like, I think it was like one of his campaign aides, one of the people that worked under him, was being interrogated, and as soon as she realized the interrogation wasn't friendly, she was like, "Can I go to the bathroom real quick?" And so they were like, "Yeah, sure." And then she went to the bathroom and apparently started mass deleting as many text messages as she could. But then she was in there so long that the fans were like, "She deleted text messages. Like, nobody got a boo-boo that bad." Like, I mean, who knows? Maybe she is shitting herself, but not. I can just imagine you realize your boss about to go to jail, you might go to jail too, and now you in the bathroom just, "I'll be right out. Oh, it's bad. Oh no. Y'all still there?" I can't stress this enough. This dude sucks. Like, it's like, okay. Maybe one of the funniest things about the whole case is that we don't definitively know one way or the other, but there's a chance that this dude, like the last straw that broke everything, that had the roof come tumbling down, that kicked over his house of cards, might have been, maybe, Sabrina Carpenter. Inadvertently. I don't know if you remember, but Sabrina Carpenter did a music video for a song called Feather, right? And in that music video, she's in a church, right? And she got permission to be in that church. As controversial as everything was, and as much as the archdiocese freaked out after they saw the video and as upset as people were, she got permission, right? She did the right thing, and she asked, "Can I do my video here? She didn't just run in and be like, "Quick." She did everything by the book, right? And the person that allowed her was a Monsignor, right? This Monsignor gave permission, shooting the church and everything. And then when the video comes out, obviously the archdiocese is all upset and stuff. They're like, "Nothing provocative or sexual should be in a church." That's what they said. Don't get weird with me. And so then they demoted the Monsignor. That's how mad they were, you know? They didn't fire him because I guess it's impossible to get fired at a church. You know, anybody else, any other job, they would have been like, "You gotta go." But Catholic Church, they're like, "No, we'll move you. Don't worry." And basically, one of the things that came from that whole thing, especially how public it was the feds subpoenaed the archdiocese over the Monsignor because he had connections, like as in a relationship or maybe even a business relationship with Eric Adams' chief of staff, right? And so they were like looking into it, and then Sabrina Carpenter's moved on. She just sort of like, "Oh, I didn't realize it. Whoops." And I don't know. I think that people don't realize how much trouble Eric Adams is in, because this isn't like a police thing. This isn't like a local police or something. Like, local police could run cover for a mayor. And so Eric Adams gets indicted, right? Present day, he gets indicted, and this dude holds a press conference. It's one of the worst press conferences I've ever watched in my entire life. This is incredible. People talk about Giuliani and everything when he did that 4 Seasons press conference and stuff like that. Not gonna lie, this one put that one to shame, okay? This one was really, but first of all, they decided to do it outside. I don't really know why, but maybe he's not allowed in buildings. I have no idea, but they decided to do it outside, and they had a tent up because it was raining. But Eric Adams and he does this a lot. He does this in a way, this is one of the reasons I can't stand Eric Adams. This is one of the things that makes him suck, right? Is that whenever he's in trouble, whenever he needs something, he's very, very black. You know, and so now that he's in trouble, he has gathered around him every black person that will stand next to him, I suppose. And so he had everybody. He had so many people that they couldn't all fit under the tent. So now there are some people getting rained on halfway, just trying to lean in and everything. Do the one-sided thing. And the press conference starts, and there's protesters at the press conference. And, you know, Adams did some weird stuff. Like when he got indicted, he did like a message to New Yorkers and everything. And in the message, he says, like, I knew as soon as I stood up for New York, I would become a target. And then we were like, when did you stand up and who is targeting you? Like, this is odd. I've heard this language before, but I've never seen it make less sense since the last time I heard it. Yeah. And finally, you know, he goes ahead, he's doing press conference and stuff, and there's protesters there. And the protesters are screaming at him. They're like, you're an embarrassment. Don't try to act black now. You brought back stop and frisk. You brought back every policy that came down hard on the black community, but now you want to be black because you're in trouble and you want us to back you up and everything. And they're yelling. And the whole time, Eric Adams is like, You ever been at a restaurant and there's a couple trying not to fight? And then finally, one of them can't take it anymore, and she stands up, and she's like, you cheating bastard, or whatever. And then he's like, It was that. And so he just stands like, okay. And then he lets people speak for him, right? So his pastor speaks, and his other pastor speaks, and I think another pastor speaks. You go to extra church when you're in trouble, right? So then pastor after pastor after pastor are speaking, right? And all the pastors are like, hey, listen, we don't even know. Everybody has to have their day in court. Like, no one is actually professing this dude's innocence. Everybody's like, yeah, you can't judge lest ye be judged. And once again, remember, I told you it's one of the worst press conferences I've ever seen, because not only can not everybody fit under the tent, and not only are the people not making a convincing argument for Adams to be innocent, which is what we would very much like our elected official to be, right? This one lady gets up there, and she's been the loudest against the other protests. Like, shut up, let him speak, blah, 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 right? And so it's her turn to speak. And then she gets up there, and she's like, good morning, New York! Like, she's just trying to shout everybody down. She's like, I've known Eric Adams for 40 years! And she's just screaming, right? And he is completely... And then the mic starts going out. Completely... And another thing... And he's not correct with... Thank you. And then the dude went up there, and I don't really know what his position was. I don't know. He might have just been a black dude Eric Adams pulled that day, because this guy gets up there and he goes, good morning, New York. Good morning, New York. I've known Eric Adams for years, and he is, for 64 years, he has loved and served New York, and we cannot throw away 64 years over 5 indictments. He is 64. And I was like, where's the logic going here? You want that dude to be innocent because he's 64? Like, is that... There's no way he served 64. He just is alive for 64 years. But this dude was slick with it. He was like, do not throw away 64 years over 5 indictments. Nobody gonna kill him. Like, what are you talking about? Throwing away 64, we're not dating him, he got indicted. Do not throw away 64 years over 5 indictments. He is 64, thank you. I feel like that's all I do that Eric Adams was like, probably should have let that be a tweet. And then it's Eric Adams' turn, right? And then counter protesters are yelling. They're like, "You're an embarrassment. You're an embarrassment to black people. You are an absolute embarrassment to the city. Okay, you trying to make it a black thing? It's not a black thing. It's a you thing. You're corrupt. You're corrupt by yourself. It's not a black thing. It's a you thing." Right? This dude's screaming, and he's like, "What? Why is anything you're saying different from Trump? You're talking about you stand in the way. Stand in the way of what? You corrupt by yourself, right?" And then Eric Adams like, and then he starts taking questions, right? And some of the questions were, you said that as soon as you stood up for New Yorkers, you would become a target. Who do you think you're a target of? Like Homeland Security, or like what? There are government bodies that are serving you this indictment. Who do you think is targeting you, and why? And then he was like, "That's a question for the federal government." And I was like, okay, not a great start. And then he goes, "Let me just get something clear right now." All right. And then the mic cuts out completely. It's like, "I just want to say to y'all, that's all I gotta say." This is incredible, Incredible. I don't know. I would love to see Eric Adams go to Rikers. I mean, particularly because of the terrible job he's done with Rikers. Just so you know, Rikers is a horrific place. It's been compared to Guantanamo Bay. Mainly because most of the people in Rikers, around 85%, have not been convicted of a crime. They just cannot afford to get off Rikers. They can't afford to pay bail and stuff like that. But they sit there until the trial, and the trial is sometimes 8 months away, 9 months away. So there are potentially innocent people just sitting there, rotting in a jail in terrible conditions because they just didn't have money. Any one of us could not have money. Most of us don't have enough money for the things we would like. So that's how close we are to being them, And it's so bad that there's a federal monitor that's like over Rikers, and Eric Adams has worked with Rikers to subvert everything that would have them comply with the federal monitor, right? It's horrific. And all they've really done is like try to throw money and staffing at the problem, but then money and staffing have become the problem because now Rikers is such a cushy job that there are a lot of people who don't show up for work. So now they really are wasting money because they'll be understaffed on a day where everyone is scheduled and then everyone calls in sick. And then people die at Rikers. People die every year at Rikers. It's absolutely insane. And the staffing, if I'm correct, maybe I'm wrong, right? But last time I looked it up, the staffing was like 2 to 1. No jail has 2 to 1. No jail anywhere has 2 to 1, And so what a poetic thing it would be, for the guy that a year ago gave the key to the city to Diddy. To also be like indicted and charged and sitting in Rikers. It'd be dope to see Eric Adams at Rikers. They just, he gets there and they're like, "What's up, buddy?" "Let's talk." And so many people have resigned too. So many people have resigned from Eric Adams' administration that I don't know who works at New York anymore. It's a lot of people. People nobody was talking to, by the way. Like people who just are like, I'm just in charge of the library, but I'm gonna go because the block is hot. I don't want these problems.